Easy Sports Talk Show with Ed Smith and Javon Adams. My name is Javon Adams. You can call me Jay or J Love. That man is the one and only Ed Smith. Not only did he play professional baseball, he even stole a base or two back when he was a little quicker and fleet of foot. He also played in the National Football League for that first Super Bowl bound team for the Atlanta Falcons. He is an author. He is a motivational speaker. He has two sons, but his youngest son is out there trying to get it done on the football field as a freshman. What is good, my brother? Hold on. Now what is good, my brother?
What up, though, Jay? Happy hump day to you, bro. One day closer to the start of the week 3 in the NFL. A lot of stuff going on, man.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I wanted to here's the conversation I want to have with you. It came out, I think it was Monday. I think I sent you the text. Yeah, it had to be Monday, towards the end of the day, Monday, that Bryce Young has been benched. He was drafted in 2023. He is 2 wins under his belt, 2 games into this NFL season, and he's being benched. And the conversation I want to have is this: is this one of those things where the evaluation of Bryce was just way out of whack, or is it when you're drafted? Because think about it, C.J. Stroud could have been with the Panthers because C.J. Stroud was picked after Bryce Young, because Bryce went number 1 in the draft. Is this an organizational thing? Is this a confidence thing? Is this maybe somebody not being as talented as we thought? I mean, I know we can't go inside the young man's head, but it just made me want to have a big discussion about just players and organizations and kind of sometimes the luck of the draw.
The answer to your question is yes. You do surveys and it has A, B, C, and D is all of the above. Let's go with all of the above here. This just happened to be the perfect storm of small quarterback, organization that has absolutely no clue what they're doing from top to bottom, starting at ownership. See what he's done running through coaches. Now here's the thing. You're going to bring another factor. You're going to bring number 1 overall pick in here. But before we do that, we're going to trade away our all-world running back, give him away for a bag of donuts and a box of popcorn. You're going to trade the our first-round pick for the following season, along with a wide receiver that could have helped him as well, DJ Moore. So we're going to give all that away, and including another draft pick this year, I think. And then we're going to draft this kid that might be a little slight at best, is the best way to describe him. Bring him in here and say, lead our organization, with absolutely nothing to help you. No offensive line, no weapons, and then he does look like he's over his skis a little bit. So this was the perfect storm of, we're going to do everything we possibly can do to hamstring him and hamstring our organization, and then stand around looking like, well, what are we supposed to do? And and then we're going to bench him. This is the quickest hook or quickest evaluation of a number 1 overall pick. I guess we experienced it out here with Rosen a few years ago. Yeah. I mean, but it was new regime coming in, and they just went out and just flat out drafted another quarterback in his place and just basically said, that was a mistake. You move on. This is one where he's still there, and they're looking at him 2 games in. And what I'm imagining, Jay, is some of the play. What happens is you got to remember, it's not just the quarterback who's experiencing this. I mean, every meeting room in that building, wide receivers, and these are some veteran guys like Adam Thielen and some of these guys. They're looking at how poorly he's playing, and they're realizing all the money we're making, I'm wasting my time and losing a season here. Yeah. I only have so long to do this. And this is, think about, we've all been at a job or a place where you absolutely hated to walk into the building. The closer you got to it, your whole attitude and everything changed. And it was just, you were miserable. Second you walked in, first thing you're looking at is, when's my first break? when is lunch, and how soon can I get the hell out of here?
You taking me back, and that job that you got me thinking about, I was making a decent amount of money, and
Yeah.
the money didn't mean nothing because it was the time that I was thinking about the job as you mentioned, on the way to work, on the way home, thinking I got to go back there tomorrow. If it was a weekend, I'm thinking, dang, I got to go back there Monday and Sunday. I'm thinking about the job, and it's messing up all that stuff.
And you take it home with you too, bro. I mean, you leave and you like, God, I'm glad that's what. But then first thing you think about, man, I gotta go back in there tomorrow. And it's like, I mean, so these are players they're going into work and it is miserable because they know they have zero chance to win, and their productivity and everything is down as well. I mean, wide receiver, you walk in the building, you want to think, hey, I'm gonna catch me a couple balls today. I'll probably doing to get a touchdown. I think they have 13 points in the 2 games or something like that. I mean, and then defensively they're getting crushed. And so the whole like aura of the building is, and it all centers around Bryce, unfortunately. So this was not just a managerial move. I think they're the coaching staffs, because you know, you got to remember, like the players have meetings and stuff like that, but before the players even get there, you got joint and the entire collective coaches meetings. So you got a first-year coach, head coach, and he's looking at his troops, you know, the position coach, and they're all looking at him like, man, we don't have a chance. And that's depressing. So then that spills out to the players. First thing, you know, the running backs room, they get in there, man, what are we going to do this? And so they're poor-mouthing and bad-mouthing. And what happens is just like a funk that goes throughout the entire building. So what do you have to do? You got to try to remove that funk. Unfortunately, it's Bryce Young right now. So, and it looks bad because I feel so bad for that young man, because I think from a report, it sounds like he was blindsided by it. But at the same, you know, so he's like, well, he's probably thinking it's not all my fault. But at the same time, bro, you're 2-16.
Yeah.
And the you know, threw a ball 20 some odd times last week and got 94 yards or whatever it was. Your team feels like they have no chance. So as bad as it looks, yeah, this is on him for the most part. And man, he looks like the speed of the game is just overwhelming him. And the best thing they could do, in my opinion, and hopefully it's not long term, hopefully they're like not giving up on him, but just sit him down and maybe give him an opportunity to watch Andy Dalton, how he prepares, maybe watch from the sideline and you got to remember too, Jay, minimal preseason snaps again. And this is obviously his second year, but you're not giving him a chance to, I mean, you know, he's literally out there and everything you can tell is moving too fast for him. And something's not right where he was so successful in college processing, you know, fitting the ball, throwing the ball down, to where his confidence is shot and it's moving too fast for him. So maybe the best thing to do, sit him down for a little while, let him digest some of this, and then go back to him eventually. Because I think it's too early to give up on him. But, you know, man, that's waving a white flag real early, you know?
I want to say over the last, since 2022, they're on their 5th head coach. So they had Matt Rule, then they fired him. Steve Wilkes was there for a while. And they should have probably given the job to Steve Wilkes. I mean, because when they fired Matt Rule, that's when Steve Wilkes kind of took over for the rest of that season. They had Frank Reich, who was supposed to be the quarterback whisperer, and he couldn't get it done. And he was there just one season. And then Chris Tabor, he was there for a few games, and then now Dave Canales. And that's one of the things that I wonder is the confidence. So if your confidence is shot, you mentioned not having some of those weapons there, but now I've heard this mentioned in term where there's evaluation of quarterbacks. I heard this and I wanted to run this by you. Could it be a situation where, because when he was at Alabama, he had all these weapons around him? I mean, just elite talent on not only the offensive line, but of course the wide receivers and running back and all that. Then you get to the NFL, and if you're the number 1 draft pick, typically, unless there's some coup that takes place, you're going to a bad team. And they're at the top of the draft for a reason. And so then, as you mentioned, he didn't come in with any weapons. Could it be that all that talent that he was surrounded by masked maybe some of his deficiencies.
Absolutely. And you can look what the number one overall pick this year, Caleb Williams is struggling right now himself. And he has all the weapons you could imagine. And, he's maybe deficient in the offensive line a little bit, but he's not burning a trail through the NFL. It's going to take him a while to learn it as well. But then when you take and you're, as you mentioned, when you're at Alabama, my nephew went to Alabama, their 2s and 3s can go other places and be 1s. So you're beating up on all these inferior schools. As a quarterback, you look great because your wide receivers are running wide open. Think about it. I mean, they national champion or Heisman Trophy winning wide receivers. You got offensive line protecting you where you can stand back there and just survey the field like, with no worry at all that anybody's going to get to you. You throw the ball, these guys are turning 5-yard outs into 85-yard touchdowns. Everything is so easy. And then, like I said, you get to the next level. And, my experience, and I talk to you about this all the time. I remember as a tight end, I remember, thinking, going from the World League, so skip college, but going to the World League, thinking, man, this is unbelievable. Last time I saw football, I was in high school, and this is a bunch of grown men out here playing, and can't get any faster than this. Man, I got into the NFL, and I was like, oh, my God, is everybody on steroids? Well, I mean, because everybody was just that big, and they were that fast, and the game moved at a pace that I just couldn't believe. And here's the other thing, too. You got to remember, as the quarterback, other positions have the luxury. All you got to know is what the hell you got to know, right?
Yeah,
that's tight end, I got to work with my tackles. I got to, run routes. I got to be able to identify coverages, stuff like that. But as a running back, you got to know what's hole to hit, blitz pickups, some routes. As the quarterback, you not only have to know what every dude on your team is doing and their responsibility and put them in the right responsibilities and stuff like that. Because I'll explain it again. When a quarterback goes to the line of scrimmage, he's identifying coverage first by looking it over, but he's all that yelling back and forth between the tackle or the center and him and going down the line. That's setting the protections. They got to identify the 5 that they can pick up if they come. And we all know there's all kinds of skies and stuff out there. So you got guys in and out. They're shifting. They're doing this. You have to put the offensive line in the best position. So you're the quarterback, not just for throwing the ball, but you're the one setting the protection. We got these 5s. If they bring a 6 from anywhere, or if they disguise it where they drop one of those out and they bring another 1 or 2 after this dude, number 58's the Mike. Anything outside of him, we got to, I either need a hot route or we got to, they're giving all the Roger. That means we're going to slide right. Louis, we're going to slide. I mean, this is all the things that he needs to know for his team. And then at the same time, Jay, you got to be able to identify the front of the defense, the coverage they may be in, have 2 or 3 plays in your head that, hey, we cannot run this against that. So we have to get out of that play into this. And then I got to get the protection, relayed and everybody scream back and do all this in 40 seconds, bro. And then the play finally happens. And then they change everything up on you because they're masking, disguising coverages, bringing blitzes, man, how that would be like, it's the equivalent of, if you're not ready, it's the equivalent of somebody pouring water on your computer. I mean, and I'm not just talking about spilling a little bit from the cup. I mean, walking up to your computer, bro, with 2 pitchers of water and just dumping it on your computer. And them pictures where you see all the sparks flying and that's exactly what's going on in the quarterback's mind, all in 40 seconds to do it again. And when your confidence isn't there, when you're like not sure of it, and I mean, that's why some of these rookies look the way they do. It's not that easy, and only so many can do it and process it. And then at the same time, be able to throw the ball under pressure, take the hits. Let me ask you a question, Jay. You ever stub your toe in the middle of the night or run into a wall when you're trying to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night and damn near knock yourself out? Or, right? Imagine stubbing that toe and jumping or falling over the ottoman in the room and damn near knocking yourself out, right?
Yeah.
and then and then having to get up and just do it all over again with some 300-pound guy jumping up and down on you or something like that. It's not easy to stand in that pocket and look down the barrel of some dude, hitting you, and then you get up and your chin strap and your helmet's all over here, and then, hey, let's do that again. There are so many things that these quarterbacks are under fire with, and only the special ones make it look easy. And CJ Stroud, he's making it look not easy, but making it look a lot more like he's a lot more comfortable than Bryce. And that's another strike against Bryce because, as you mentioned, these dudes not just in the same draft, one pick apart, and this dude's doing this and you're doing that. So it's can we use the bust word? I think it's a little too early, but man, people are gonna start throwing it around soon.
So let's get in. I want to talk about that a bit. So I remember I was at a job. I had a position where my role, I got lucky early. So let's say you're the quarterback that ends up winning a couple games early, right? But then I started to struggle. I started to struggle because those wins, those early wins that I had, they gave me a false sense of security, and I wasn't doing the little things to build a foundation that would help me to be successful, consistently successful. So later on, when I started to have failure, they started to try to coach me. I was in my own head. I was in my own head. I was trying to do things, but I was thinking, am I supposed to say this? And what am I supposed to say? Am I not supposed to say this? And I was in my own head. And I just had that position at that company was no longer for me. I had to kind of start over. And that's the question I want to ask, because you ask, is he a bust? I mean, is he unsalvageable, or is he one of those like a Baker Mayfield, or similar to Geno? What am I thinking of? Geno in Seattle. What am I?
Geno Smith.
Geno Smith. Thank you. Geno Smith, or maybe even if you think about, there are there are examples of other quarterbacks. Sam Darnold. Well, that might be too early for Sam Darnold, but at least he's having a flash of something. So getting a couple wins under his belt. Could it be that he's that type of guy that this is just not going to work for you? Maybe the coaching, maybe the organization, you're in your own head, all these variables, and maybe he's going to need a fresh start with somebody to build him back up to realize some of his, closer to realizing his true potential.
It could be. I mean, it could be a wash there in Carolina. It's too early to say. The one issue I do have is unless he goes through a growth spurt and they can pack a few pounds on him, he's always going to be a small, short, and very light-framed guy. Yeah. And that doesn't bode well in this league. So that's always going to be a strike against him. And what teams have seen from him so far, I mean, I think they were making a joke about him, like when training camp started, and I think there was a picture of him with the backpack on. Yeah. Going there, people were like, he looked like a high school kid, going into. I'm looking out there, my son playing freshman football, and there's some kids that look like they could probably be about his size. Right. And that in the NFL, that is small. So, and that's why I sometimes wonder about these evaluators when when they do the measurables and stuff like that. There's a reason why they have the combine. I don't understand. I don't care what he did in college. That would be for me. That would be a warning sign. Number one, can that body hold up against this league? Yeah, these beasts going after him, and can he stand in the pocket and eye it down like a Tom Brady, like a Josh Allen, like a Patrick Mahomes? He doesn't. I mean, you hit him one time. I mean, golly, bro. We've all, you go to Buffalo Wild Wings, you order the wings, and there's always one in there, bro. You pull that one wing out, you're like, where the hell did they get this little bitty thing from? Ain't no beat on it, no nothing. Seriously. It's like every order has that one wing. It's like, man, I hate to see that damn chicken.
Oh my gosh.
And that so when you're looking at or doing the evaluation, sometimes you see it, I'm like, bro, that doesn't look right. I mean, even Kyler Murray's got some chunkiness to him. He's not tall. We got a short quarterback here, but he's got some beefiness to him. Right. Bryce, he just looks small, period. So unless you can, in my opinion, beef him up, his body won't hold up, and I don't know. Can you design the offense for him to try to keep him out of harm's way? I don't know. So that's going to be up to these other teams. What I'm afraid of is these other teams they're looking at the film, and what are you gonna offer to bring him in right now? As good as he looked in college just 2 short years ago, who's gonna? I mean, a 5th, 6th, 7th rounder for Bryce?
Ooh, man.
I mean, what are you giving? Like, what would you give up to bring him in? Like, say the Carolina's done with him, because you know what's going to happen. They're going to be close to the number 1 pick next year. They're not going to be. They're going to reset this. So that means now the Cardinals.
Dang, resetting is so early in, and then when you think
the
about
Cardinals do.
No, but I'm saying when the players on that roster, you mentioned in the beginning of the pod today that I'm wasting a year or years of my career being.
Think about the head coach. Think about Canales. He's like he came in here to take over this, and I guarantee you he's looking at it and he's going to ownership and management. You guys can't expect me to win like this. So we need to do something.
You can't go to ownership because ownership he'll let you out. He said you can't win, then get out. Well, no, give me a little more time.
Bro. Hey, you got to pay me anyway. So at this point, I got my guaranteed money or whatever it is. You want to buy me up, but I mean, if I'm going down fighting with my ship. I mean, I guarantee you there's a reason why they made the change. Somebody either at the top or somebody in the middle had to. Because at one point, Canales was like, Bryce is our quarterback. The next, we need to make a change to give us the best shot to win some games. So either ownership was like,
if that was the case. So, and again, I love the speculation. If that was the case, let's say the coach was thinking, we'll get there. It might be a little slower than I thought, but we'll get there. And then he gets his knees taken out from underneath him, and he has to walk back into that locker room. I'm sure the players are thinking, well, dang, we need to change because this dude ain't getting it done. But still, that takes away some of your authority and your power as supposed to be that head coach, if that indeed was something that happened in that regard.
Or you could flip it and say that, it looked like ownership and management was trying to tell him what to do, and he'd had enough balls to go into the room and say, I can't win like this. And hey, he made the change, or he barked to make the change. Say, hey, yeah, because we need a better shot. We need, Andy to give us a chance at least. So, I mean, depending on how you spin it, either they told him what to do, or he went in there and told them, if we're going to win, I need better equipment than this. I need a better quarterback than this. This ain't, and the players are like, because I guarantee you they're going to feel like they're in a better place. Dalton is not a world beater, but he's a veteran. He'll be able to get him in and out of plays, not afraid to throw the ball down the field. He's seen everything. He was a starter in Cincinnati forever. He's been around the league. There's not much you can show him or throw at him that's going to scare him. So right off the bat, you're going to see more, in my opinion, more production. Now, do they have the weapons and stuff like that? And probably not still, but you're going to see more production from that group, and that'll be, at least pep the room up a little bit. It's when you go into I played on teams where we didn't stand a chance, man.
Yeah.
And we knew, as much as they want to pump us up and here's our game plan, and we knew you know what you're up against, and that's a bad feeling. But when you think you got a chance, everybody starts to feel a little better about their job and their spot and their security. So I guarantee it was a tough move to make, but a lot of guys, at least player-wise, feel a lot better about this week preparing, getting ready to play whoever they're playing.
Speaking about being better prepared before we head out of here, do you think that CJ Stroud is saying thank you, Lord, that I got drafted where I am? Or is he saying, I'm good and I'm so good. I could have made that team good, man. I could have made that team a playoff team, man. I'm CJ Stroud. Because the confidence of a supreme athlete, especially when they've seen success, thinking if I got success here, I know I could at least got them to on the edge of the playoffs. Do you think that happens?
Be thankful for what you have and where you are. Do not, whatever. He's looking at and thanking God he did not land there, and because he knows the dysfunction. He might have thought, well, I probably would have done a little better than that, but probably not a whole lot better because that is pure chaos over there. And I'm glad you brought that up. My nephew just signed with Houston last night. So he's a Texan now.
Oh,
Yeah, he left.
okay.
He's a Texan. He's already practicing today. So,
Oh,
but
yeah.
yeah. So, but I mean, yeah, no, I'm sure. You think about what CJ is doing. He is thanking his lucky stars. He's made the relationships. He's got a great head coach. He's bonded with his players. They've showed him that we're going to go out and improve our roster even more, get you more weapons. So he's in a great spot. And I guarantee you he wouldn't want to be anywhere other than where he is right now. If somebody in the press asked him that question, he'd be like, no comment. I don't have to worry about that. That ain't got nothing to do with me.
Ain't got nothing to do with me,
Yeah.
man. I'm on to the next opponent.
My name Bennett. I ain't even in it.
That's true. Real quick, but last thing. So just we don't get a chance to break news as we record this in the mornings when we typically do it. Just saw Adrian Wojnarowski is bouncing from ESPN, and he's going to become the GM because that's the structure now in college sports. GM, I believe, of his alma mater, St. Bonaventure.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
he's going to go manage the money. Wow.
Yeah,
Isn't that
yeah, or
something?
manage the money essentially.
Manage the money, yeah.
Yeah, so
Golly.
interesting. So no Woj
Yeah.
bombs unless he tries to work something out. But I'm sure that they wouldn't.
He probably had a hint because you know how ESPN be dropping them left and right. He probably had a hint that another cut is coming. He's like, let me get out of here before they get me. He's out.
Yeah. I heard that. So on behalf of the one and only Ed Easy Smith, I am Javon J. Love Adams. We do this thing 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Make sure you tell a friend about what we got going on here. Oh, shout out to Casual E from Casual Sports. He had me up on. I felt like Ed Smith yesterday because he reached out to me and asked me if I could jump on and talk a little bit of Arizona Cardinals. So shout out to Casual E. And so again, 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We also have the Believe in the Arizona Cardinals podcast that we do on Mondays and Thursdays. So again, that's BLEAV in the Arizona Cardinals. So tell a friend about that as well. And as we always like to say around this time, you can